Today's multipolar world order, geoeconomics, has taken precedence over geopolitics in the policy formulation processes of many nations, and emerging economies too are cooperating for shared economic prosperity. The shift from geopolitics to geoeconomics is not as sudden as it may seem. Many organizations and countries have played a crucial role in making it happen. BRICS, the acronym denoting the emerging national economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is an example of a geo-economic model that has achieved remarkable milestones since its inception. During the BRICS summit held in South Africa on 22nd to 24th August 2023, 6 countries, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, Iran, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia, were invited to join the grouping. Argentina declined owing to its own geopolitical compulsions. However, the remaining 5 nations joined as members of BRICS on 1 January 2024. With the inclusion of new members, the GDP of BRICS countries is expected to increase to USD 30.8 trillion. According to an IMF report, the expanded bloc will have a share of 37.3% in the world's GDP in 2025 and 38.5% in 2028. This vividly manifests the growing role of BRICS countries in the world economy. According to an article titled "BRICS Countries' Increasing Role in the World Economy, including Institutional Innovation," published in the BRICS Journal of Economics 2023, the share of BRICS in the world GDP rose from 11.9% in 2000 to 25.6% in 2021. The bloc had a combined GDP of $27.6 trillion in 2023, representing 31% of the global economy, making G7 countries second with a 30% share. It is important to note that intra-BRICS trade has remarkably increased, and China is playing a pivotal role in this regard. According to data released by the General Administration of Customs, China's foreign trade with BRICS countries was $326 billion in 2023, showing an increase of 19% as compared to that in 2022. Similarly, China-Russia trade reached $240 billion in 2023, which is an increase of 26% from the previous year. Despite the various border clashes and disputes, trade between China and India increased to $135.98 billion in 2022. China-Brazil trade reached $165.6 billion in the said year, an increase of 8.1%. South Africa is China's largest trade partner in Africa, with bilateral trade of $56.74 billion in 2022, which showed an increase of 11% as compared to the previous year. BRICS countries established the New Development Bank, or NDB, in 2015, which aims at mobilizing resources for infrastructure and sustainable development projects in emerging markets and developing countries. According to the official website of BRICS, the NDB was established as an alternative to the World Bank. It has approved over 90 projects worth $33 billion for infrastructure development in emerging economies. The NDB has approved almost $33 billion in loans, mainly for water, transport, and other infrastructure projects, since it began operation in 2015. Along with other BRICS countries, South Africa also borrowed $1 billion in 2020 to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. It's important to note that, unlike the International Monetary Fund, the NDB does not have dictatorial conditional loans or aid for any of its member countries. Economic activity in the BRICS entails implications for the existing global economic system. Trade in local currencies among BRICS countries weakens the US dollar. Some economists view it as a push towards de-dollarization. According to Oxford Business Group, in 2022, 88% of global currency trade in 2019 was in US dollars, but by 2022 this share dropped to 58.8%. In 2022, Saudi Arabia and Turkey traded Russian and Chinese goods in yuan and ruble. In August 2023, India and the UAE started settling bilateral trade in their local currencies. New Delhi purchased 1 million barrels of crude oil in Indian rupee. On December 20th, 2023, Russian Deputy Prime Minister Andrei Belousov stated that in 2023, 95% of Russia-China trade was done in rubles and yuan. Keeping in view the economic growth and rising trade relations between and among the BRICS nations, China and Russia have been calling for the expansion of BRICS since 2017 to provide opportunities for emerging economies. Moreover, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Iran are oil-rich countries, and joining BRICS will help them increase their share of oil production. According to the Energy Institute Statistical Review of World Energy Report in 2022, adding oil economies in BRICS countries would increase the share of oil production from 20.4% to 43.1%. According to oil exports and production data for 2022 of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, the BRICS Plus is going to change the power balance in the global energy market. In terms of oil reserves, the group will also control nearly 719.5 billion barrels, half of the world's total of 1.6 trillion barrels. Whereas the G7 group of leading economies, which includes the US, UK, Germany, Italy, Canada, France, and Japan, controls only 3.9% of known crude oil reserves. Moreover, Russia and China can help diversify the oil-based economies of Iran and Saudi Arabia. The inclusion of Iran in the BRICS may help reduce the impact of US sanctions against it. Given that the country is the world's 8th largest oil producer and possesses the 3rd largest oil reserves, it can fulfill the energy requirements of BRICS countries to a great extent. The addition of Ethiopia and Egypt to the BRICS countries would open a new avenue for economic growth and their political outreach to the BRICS nations. Ethiopia aims to modernize its agricultural sector, increase productivity, and improve food production and distribution through the utilization of advanced agricultural technologies and know-how from BRICS countries. Egypt is reeling under heavy foreign debt, a weakening currency, and rising inflation. BRICS countries' trade in local currencies can help this African powerhouse come out of its financial crisis and foreign debt. Moreover, according to the Egyptian state media, on August 25, 2023, the Egyptian Minister for Finance, Mohamed Mayset, emphasized that Egypt's membership in the BRICS will boost investment, provide new export avenues, and strengthen economic cooperation and trade between BRICS countries and Egypt. The transitioning global order requires nations to adjust their political and economic priorities accordingly. Pakistan has also applied for membership in the BRICS. Its inclusion will connect it with an already wide network of rail and roads that connects most of the BRICS countries. The BRICS Plus membership would strengthen Pakistan's economic position and help find new markets in BRICS nations. T2, alleviate Pakistan's position in the region and beyond. 3, provide a sustainable oil supply chain. And IV, expand socio-cultural and educational exchanges. But for Pakistan to successfully join BRICS or compete in other arenas internationally, the political instability at home needs to be addressed. Moscow, Beijing, and other key BRICS members should consider inviting Pakistan to join at the summit in Russia later this year, or should at least announce a concrete roadmap for Pakistan's candidacy. Pakistan has much to gain economically and diplomatically by joining such global South forums. The expansion of BRICS will open new opportunities for emerging economies. The potential of BRICS countries and increasing trade within the organization would give a new impetus to emerging economies for sustainable development and growth. The inclusion of natural resource-rich African countries and oil-rich Middle Eastern economies would increase the GDP of BRICS countries. The NDB, as an alternative to the WB or IMF, would ease the project financing process in BRICS member states. This will reduce their dependency on Western financial institutions and strengthen their currencies. Inclusion of emerging economies in BRICS will not only entail economic benefits, but also the exchange of ideas, innovation, and knowledge that will pave the way for shared prosperity.